Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Here we go. Let's see. Josh put up, this is the way you can get in touch with me on the show, 706-889-9700, chief@fetchernews.com. And there are all the social media ways you can follow the show. It's going to be another hot one out there, folks. Now, it's 9:06, and I promised at 9 o'clock we were going to talk about this. And let's go with the, give me, I had it here, number 11, all right? Because this is only part one. And the reason I say this is there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. This is the Blue Ridge City Council. Now, there's Harold. What's Harold's last name? Man, that was wrong. There's Nathan Fitz, the council member Nathan Fitz, Mayor Donna Whitener, council member Rhonda, what is her last name? Rhonda Thomas Herndon. David Herndon, right? I guess. Or I don't remember. Rhonda Thomas. I've been calling her Rhonda Thomas for so long. I apologize, Councilwoman Thomas. Robbie. What's Robbie's last name? Why am I drawing a blank? Couldn't somebody write this out for me? And Ken Gaddis. All right, anyhow, no disrespect to the council, all right? But this is Blue Ridge City Council. I'll get the names correct. God knows, I hope the reporting's right. So anyhow, this is the Blue Ridge City Council. Now, what we want to know is whose idea was this? Who said we should do this? Right? That's number one. Number two, what did they pay the city attorney to write this 36-page document? And here's exactly what I'm talking about, okay? This is 36 pages long. Leave the council up there because this is who's bringing this to you. And an ordinance number BR2 2019-08, May 14, 2019. An ordinance by the mayor and city council for the city of Blue Ridge related to derelict and blighted property. So our first segment here is, this is a 36-page document. Now, we will make sure it's posted on our website, and we will tell you how to find it. Go to the City of Blue Ridge's website, official website. Click on May 14th. Go to the calendar. Click on May 14th, and find the ordinance, and it is called. Okay. It is called, I have it here, right here, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Hang on, the ordinance name is, there's section 7. Blue Ridge Blighted Property Ordinance, okay, that's the name of it, the Blue Ridge Blighted Property Ordinance. And what I want to say today, okay, is we all want safe communities, correct? We do understand there are times when condemnation takes place, okay? When a property is condemned, and there's legal ways to condemn property. There is state laws in condemning and putting a lien on the property if it's condemned, and cleaning it up if it's condemned. And condemnation, let's stay there just for a minute. Generally, it's based on safety, okay? if a house is falling down and nobody has lived there in a long time, and a house is truly dilapidated, or is that the word? I don't know. I got to pronounce a lot of different words. Or a blight, but it's unsafe. And let's say children go to this property and it's unsafe. And let's say children go inside the house and party on a Friday night because it looks like a haunted house or whatever, and it's unsafe. The porch could fall off any day. If somebody tried to go to the second floor, they could fall through. There's whatever. Okay, so let's start with that. So we understand. Let's go with the what we understand. We understand in our community we do not want an unsafe structure. Okay, and there are times when condemnation would be the way to go. Okay, and there's legal ways. You contact the owners and you give the owner so long to clean off the property, and if they don't, then you have a legal remedy to do so. That's number one. Number two, drugs. Okay, now we don't want abandoned houses or slums or places that there are drug houses. Okay, and you don't want slums that, drug addicts are living in. You don't want meth houses. You do not want that in your neighborhood. Now, if you read the 36-page document, we understand. So if people are calling and complaining to the mayor and the council members about a drug house, or people moving into a place that does not belong to them because the place is abandoned and they're living there with no water, no sewer, no power because they are drug addicts, we understand you don't want that in your community. Well, then there's a such thing called law enforcement. That's why you call your city police. That's why you call your law enforcement. I'm not for sure that the Blue Ridge City police really want to give away or be challenged by the city with this enforcement and making a determination whether a house is being used for a drug house or somebody is living in an abandoned house dealing or selling drugs. That's called law enforcement. There are ways in the community, there are laws on the books where you can actually, if a house is a meth lab, or you can know for a fact that meth is, they've been smoking meth in this house, there's ways to actually condemn the property and take the property. There are remedies by state law already on drug properties. Okay, houses being used for drugs, confiscations. So in this document, what I'm saying is we understand slums, we understand, dilapidated, I guess that's the word, houses that are falling down that need to be condemned. We understand that. But this is a 36-page document that goes over and above those two areas. Way over and above, 36 pages. First of all, I recommend everybody read it because there's a lot of stuff in here. For example, okay, let me see where I'm at here because you have to read segments, and there's one in here that really concerns me, is the government coming to your property and wanting to come inside. This one bothers me. This one really bothers me, okay? Section 9, there's a couple. Section 9, general cleanliness of premises. The owner and occupant of property within the city shall be independently responsible for keeping the premises, including all buildings thereon and the full yard thereof, the yard, clean, and free of all garbage, refuse, filth. Filth. Dirt. Dirt. Ashes, trash, rubbish, and other offensive materials. Means anything we go on that property and see that we think is not acceptable. What may it not be acceptable for? Community redevelopment? Community redevelopment means an activity, project, or service necessary or incidental to achieving the redevelopment or revitalization of a redevelopment area or portion thereof designated for redevelopment through an urban redevelopment plan or through local ordinances related to the repair, closing, and demolition of buildings and structures unfit for human habitation. Under their redevelopment plan, under their urban redevelopment plan, through ordinances, this is a bad document. You see, I want to know, and I want to say very clearly, I want you to know very clearly, I support no such thing as, I support law enforcement going in and cleaning out the drugs in the community. I support that. I do not want to see abandoned homes or abandoned buildings and druggies living inside the buildings. I don't want to see that, obviously. And there is a point where if the property has a dwelling that's falling down, falling down and is unsafe and, nobody lives there and it's abandoned, you need to take it down for the safety of everybody in the community. There are remedies for that already on the books legally in Georgia. I understand City of Blue Ridge City Council and Mayor if you want to even write an ordinance that applied. But this is a big overreach. This applies to buildings on your property, your house, your garage, any structure on your property, anything that you have. This applies to commercial businesses. There's a lot. We can't unpack this 36 pages. Let me tell you another one. There's section 5, powers of enforcement official or his or her designee. Now the designee, his or her, a duly authorized enforcement official or officials. They're going to have an authorized official that can come and do this, or designee, in carrying out his or her duties pursuant to this article. The enforcement office or his or her designee to whom his or her authority is assigned shall, in addition to the powers otherwise confer upon delegated to him and her, the charter, other ordinances of the city. Investigate and inspect condition of dwellings, building structures, private property within the city to determine those structures and property used in violation of this article, entries into the private property. Okay? Listen very closely. Entries into the private property shall be made in a manner so as to cause the least possible inconvenience. Now, 5 of your neighbors or 5 people can complain, or any one of these council members can decide to tell the new code enforcement officer or the officer or designee to come and knock on your door. That's right. Now, what they may say, the council may say, is they may say, no, we're only going to go to ones where we have a legitimate complaint. We're only going to go to ones where, we know that we need to go to. They are determining this, okay? They are. And it doesn't mean we're going to go to every house and every, don't be afraid. But once this is done, they will have that right, okay? Now, here's the interesting thing. Now, you think about it, okay? And I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism for this, but you think about this. Now, let me read this. This is under Section 5, Powers of Enforcement Official. I keep saying official, or his or her designee. His or her designee. Go over there and look at that property. I designate you officially able to go over. What? Now, again, they're going to say that I am fear-mongering, and I'm not. I just believe in my constitutional rights, and I believe if I got an extra bag of trash on the front porch, which I've been known to do, and I could believe that I'm probably a nuisance, which I've been known to be accused of, or filthy. I've been known not to take a shower every once in a while. I know those are all jokes, but you realize there is a broad determination here that belongs to people that may not be elected that can knock on your door, okay? So, what if you're older? What if you're poor? What if you don't have the money to do the repairs that somebody thinks? What if you have a shutter that fell off the house and you just, because I have a shutter that fell off the house. What if you have a shutter that fell off the house and you just don't have the money to pay somebody to put it back, or it's not changing the way you live, but it becomes a nuisance, or it is something they don't consider, to be acceptable? I know what you're saying. Well, you're being silly, you're picking on things. No, it's not me. Do I feel you want to do that? I don't know. But your 36-page document has so much open self. You can self-determine these things, all right? You could decide these internally because it's such a broad description, okay? Broad description that you can make it almost anything you want if you read it. Now I'm going to close with this today. This is part 1. All right, so hold on, I had it here right here. Okay. City by empowered, investigate and inspect condition of dwellings, buildings, and structures. A private property within the city to determine those structures and property uses in violation of this articles. Now this deals with entering your property. Okay? Entries onto private property shall be made in a manner so as to cause the least possible inconvenience. Provided, however, the enforcement official shall not enter into an occupied dwelling or structure without first having obtained the consent of the owner, a person in possession. In those cases where consent to enter is denied after reasonable request. Who is making the reasonable request? After reasonable request, okay? So you got to understand, this is not a property where somebody's not answering the front door. We can understand. If we have an abandoned property and maybe the city says, hey, somebody needs to go check this abandoned property. It's been empty for a year. Who said you can't leave your property empty? You have to do what as long as you take care of the property, right? So anyhow, but this is after, okay, after you have been asked nicely. Shall enter into consent owner possession. In those cases where consent to enter is denied after responsible request, the enforcement official may apply to a municipal court for an administrative search warrant upon showing probable cause that violations exist, to retain experts, including certified real estate appraisers, qualified building contractors, and qualified building inspectors, engineers, surveyors, accountants, and attorneys. So let me frame this the way I see it, and I'm going to put it like this. Hi, I'm the government. I'm your local government. I am locally your determining code official by the city of Blue Ridge. I have all these powers and rights that have been bestowed upon me. We feel it's possible that your house is not conducive for you to live in. We feel it may be possible that there's some violations of our codes within the doors of your home. We feel that possible. We hope you're having a nice afternoon. We are the government. We're here to help and make sure you're living in a safe, clean, responsible space. So what I'm asking you nicely, this is a reasonable request. Can I come in and look around? Now, I'll overlook you don't clean the living room, pick up your shoes. I'll overlook that there's some dirty dishes in the sink. I'm not here to make any judgments. This is a reasonable request. Now, if you choose not to let me come in and look around, you may tell the city that I'm very polite and I'm very nice, and I respect you telling me I can't. But I do have to let you know, it is my job to let you know that I can go get a search warrant. Now, I can apply for a search warrant and make all of our reasoning to a magistrate and ask for a search warrant. And when I come back, you will have no choice but to let me look through your home. Now, I choose not to go get a search warrant. I want to do this by a very nice, rational tone, and I just want to come in for a minute. But don't forget, if you don't let me in your door, I can go make a case for a search warrant and come in your house. That's what I want to do. So I'm just here to help. I'm the government. Look, I understand Blue Ridge City Council. If you want to get the drugs out, I'll be glad to help you. Tell me how. I'll be glad if abandoned homes that you feel are being used for meth labs or selling drugs or distributing drugs, I'll be glad to help, because I'm sure law enforcement, you do know we have laws on the books that actually law enforcement can go do their job, okay? And I'm not going down that road. I'm just saying there's law enforcement. Hey, City Council, I understand condemnation of a property falling down. I get it. And I understand the person across the street that just built the $400,000 house doesn't want to look across the other street and look at the 80-year-old home that maybe is pretty well kept up. I understand all that. Okay? There's a lot to unpack. 36 pages, folks. You need to read all 36 pages. Find out whose idea was this in the first place. What is the major motive behind this? Hey, if it's just cleaning up the town, let's find out. And 3, what did they pay an attorney to write a 36-page legal document? Wow. And could this touch on gentrification? Is that what it's called? Huh? We're going to talk about that in our next segment. But start unpacking the 36 pages and we'll get back to this issue. I wish the council all the best. You have my support. But really, I'm the government. I'm here to look through your home. Whoa. Take a break.